We are late. 1 minute.
Ah,
Yeah, it's a sad news, but I planned on streaming to different channels, not only YouTube, also LinkedIn and X. But turns out we are on a free subscription, so we cannot. So we are back to only YouTube. I think the mean part is you can create those, and then once I wanted to go live, it was like popping up this upgrade your plan. I'm like, oh, this is kind of late now. Like,
uh, yeah. It's when it's most critical, they'll hit you with the upgrade your plan.
I wish I would have known earlier. Yeah.
All
Hi
right.
Brad.
Well,
Today it's you. It's not Lau. It's you in 2026. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. I could not join last week. I'm not sure if you announced because there was a large power outage, and somehow I don't like my cell service didn't work, which was doubly concerning because I was going to join on data, and then it just like you got my messages all out of order like 15 minutes after the fact, being like, I don't know if you're receiving this.
Yeah. That was kind of funny after the stream, kind of to receive the messages. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know if I can join. I'm like, yeah, I saw that you didn't join.
you weren't there.
But
Uh,
Jaco told me, like, so there was someone who, like, we
yeah.
managed.
And so I have power this week, and I'm here in the booth.
Perfect, perfect. And the power will not cut off, I hope. I cross my fingers because we want to continue talk about FP. Last week Lau came into the stream and he did a great introduction on how to work with the AI native issue tracker and Claude Code, how to use it in the CLI. We saw how you can create an issue, but I think mainly the most interesting part was the review part and how you could comment on a review and then how the agent would pick it up again. And I'm glad that you joined today because we can continue the conversation and talk a little bit about the best practices and also what excites you when working with FP.
Yeah, I think I had two things in mind. Um, one of them is also related to review, but not the FP review tool, which I'm like tempted to show again. Like I love the FP review tool.
Yes, it's really good.
uh, and I just think it's very, yeah. I love having a visual place to do PR reviews like you do them on GitHub, but for larger PRs, GitHub becomes extremely sluggish for me. And this tool has been very nice for that. But that's not necessarily what I'll talk about. So, two things that I have found myself doing with FP. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, I'm going to share my entire screen. And okay, was not ready for this. How do I hide my? Oh, okay. We're just going to go to Ghosty. All right. One thing is when I am working on something, and this has been an age-old habit of mine, I usually have some sort of personal note-taking app alongside whatever I'm working on. Sometimes I keep a document, in the repo itself, and sometimes, or most of the time, it's like the Notes app on Apple. It's very reliable. You can just jot down some things. So if I'm reviewing something, or if I am working on something and I notice another issue that's unrelated, I would make a note in my Notes app. And the thing
Okay.
that I've loved about FP is those cases. It's like my brain is really separate from the project itself. With FP, I can just file a quick ticket, and then it'll be available for me the next time that I like start a new session with Claude. And so I've been able to like
Before
keep track.
FP, what has been your note taking app? The one that
Um,
you enjoyed most?
no, just FP itself.
No, no, before FP
Oh,
existed.
I
Because
use Bear a lot.
okay,
Bear. It's a Markdown editor. It's meant for this like syncs across devices on iOS. I don't know if I have anything crazy in here, but yeah, you see my ridiculous notes of just like to-dos throughout the week and things like that.
yep.
But this example. This is not my best example, but like I've been crafting a blog, and every once in a while, I just fire off an idea for a post, and that lives in the blog project itself. So I know this could be resolved with a markdown document, but it's just to drive the point home of like I've had these one-off ideas. I just put them in the project and they're there. And the nice thing, actually, I might have another even better example. The nice thing is when I start a session, I say use FP, what should I work on next? And I will get a list of possible posts or things that I could, let's see here, things that I could write. And so, yeah, in this case, oh yeah, I have an open task. So this is another thing where I was like, oh, I want to change the domain at some point. And I believe that is still open right here. Oh, I never actually finished this post because I'm not great at consistently writing, which is a draft blog post on. So like I've been learning more terminal tricks and utilities just by watching Claude work, and I thought that was an interesting post. And then I'm working on some stuff right now that I think could be quite interesting for blog material. So I ran into the idea of a distributed schema evolution, where you have a data schema, but it exists in a distributed system, and you have to know how to evolve it over time without breaking backwards. And I was like, oh yeah, hit that before. That'd be an interesting post. And then I learned a bit about SQLite wall mode, write-ahead log mode, and why it's useful in the past week. And so I was like, oh, that'd be kind of an interesting post. So I just kept those notes there. So this is like I said, there's other ways to do this for like a blog. But when you're in a project and you find a small bug or a small UI thing that you want to fix, but it's not related to your current branch, just being able to quickly file it away and tackle it later is one of my favorite little workflows. Yeah.
And I think it's also different now because I think the last week we talked a lot about oh, now Claude also can start picking up those issues and start working, but you as a human obviously can also pick up your own issues again and start writing, because maybe if you would now tell Claude to write your blog post, not sure if it would have all the necessary information in the ticket and what would be the outcome, right? So
yeah. But I think the thing that I've liked even more is okay. So last week we saw FP review, and this week I can kind of introduce. I hope it's not too messy. I can introduce a workflow that I've done in review land, which is okay. So you work on a ticket. So you're going to see this is kind of a. These are all the tasks I've had for a first part of a feature I'm working on right now. The feature has to do with syncing issues. So, spoiler alert, there will be a way to do that. So syncing issues to a remote store and beaming them down onto another machine. We are going to use, oh, that's not relevant. We're going to use some stuff, and it's going to be really fun. The relevant thing here is along the way, so this is the foundation, and I really want to nail it. And so I did quite a bit of research going into it, threw out a couple of prototypes, and now I'm breaking ground on this is us building the the core data models that will inform sync. And part of that is, for me, I am assuming that I did not think of everything from the get-go. So I'm very liberally using, do I have anything in the working tree? No, I don't. Let's see. So I'm very liberally using FP review. And in this case, I have, I think it's a recent ticket, WMA. Hopefully. Yeah. So very liberally using the review tool to look over the code that was committed by Claude. But typically before I even hit that step, what I want to do is have Claude review the code itself. And I use the PR Review Toolkit, which is an official plugin from Anthropic. So PR Review Toolkit, Review PR. Typically in the review aspects, I'd say something like use fp, fetch context on the parent, epic, abcd, whatever the ID is, and review work on subtask DEFG. So whatever task we were just working on. It does an extremely thorough review. And after that, you get something back. You get a very long list of things you could fix back. And if I'm doing this review, sometimes even if I do this review in a new session, it would take up too much context to tackle every single one of the problems. And so I know already I need to split this up between different sessions for the fixes. And one of the best things I've done for that is an example you can see over here in this code review findings phase 1 foundation quality, which is a very Claude title for an issue. So I took the code review, put it into this issue, and then went back and forth for a bit in another session about like, okay, what's actually a problem? What do we actually care about? And then slowly but surely subtasked all the things I wanted to fix from that bout of work. And I found this profoundly powerful, especially if you want to write a strong foundation for something where you need to be extremely thorough. Having this extra step of like automated code review, sifting through what matters, and then being able to subtask it accordingly, very, very, very nice. So yeah, I think that's it in a nutshell. I don't know if there's anything else I should say on that, but do you know thoughts, Nilla?
Thoughts? Well, I mean, I like it. I like the idea that you have it's a two-phase review phase, right? So you have Claude first reviewing with the Anthropic plugin. You put it
Yep.
into an FP issue on its own on a parent level, and then all the sub issues under it. Probably you run some agents again, and then in the next step you start reviewing all the things that it added, right? So you then use FP again to review what it has added.
Yep.
So it's a review before the review, kind of.
Yeah. It's the kind of automated review, followed by human review is kind of what I settled into. And I will also note it's been pretty important for me to actively monitor Claude during some of the process. Just specifically like what I'm working on here can't be entirely vibe coded, and I very often catch Claude on paths that I don't like. And so yeah, this whole idea of like smaller subtasks, automated review, reviewing the review, and then reviewing the code has been a way to keep everything kind of in line. And then I know like there's a part of me that's like, that sounds absurd, just write it yourself. I will say that the thing that I have enjoyed the most is not having my head down in the details of like syntax or using a library. Has allowed me to like, think a bit more critically about whether certain error paths are covered, whether we need something now or we can shift it into kind of a different phase, as Claude loves to call these phases. And then also ask more questions at a high level that can kind of uncover architectural problems or future-proofing problems or anything along those lines. So I think it's a highly architectural workflow, but I do feel like it's freed up some mental space for me to not have to like burn focus on writing all the code myself, to ask the bigger questions, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And question, if you then commit the code to Git, or if you PR finally, do you think then, like if another tool like CodeRabbit would go over it, still adds a review to it, or then you would say the review is done because you reviewed so much on your local branch already? So
I always invite more reviews from the robots. But yeah, I would expect those to find smaller things which is to say, like, oh, you have a inconsistent, like this pattern here is inconsistent with what's in your development guidelines, or yeah, things along those lines. At this point, for this kind of feature, it's like I know how I want it to work at a high level, and I just need to make sure that that slots in correctly. Yeah. So I think the broad strokes are like, I can maybe give an example too. So reviewing a review I did today kind of uncovered like some unnecessary code in the first implementation, where we had this idea of like tolerant schemas. So like things that would not crash the app if they read data that was unexpected. And so review flagged like some issues with the tolerant schemas. And then as I kind of stepped through, so then I subtasked that specific item from the review. And I was like, okay, we're just going to put that into its own subtask of the like full review task. And I'm just going to spin one session on like, why is this a problem? Let's step back. Like, why do we have these tolerant schemas to begin with? Do these tolerant schemas actually make sense for this stage in the project? And it was kind of like, and eventually I was like, oh, no. So like when I kind of considered that case earlier, it was like, oh, we don't need it right now.
And I think it's a classic that Claude often includes more code than needed. So
yeah.
That's a very classical behavior when it writes on its own.
Yeah. So at the very least, I hope that's kind of helpful.
Yeah, I think so. And I think next week, well, I don't know, because we haven't talked about it, but FP is not the only tool out there on the market, to say. And I run some evaluations with Claude together, because Claude is the main user as well, right? So we try to partner up here to look at other tools, and maybe next week we can talk a little bit about them, and see a little bit around the differences, but also what is similar. And would you be up for that next week?
Oh yeah.
If I invite you again?
Yeah, if I'm invited.
You are invited, if the power is there.
Yeah, I'm excited for it for reasons I won't spoil. I want to see the comparison.
You want to see the comparison? Yeah, I maybe I can give that as a cliffhanger. I had two different approaches to test it. The first one was I let Claude write the test. Like, I had the human test because I wanted to see how I feel about those tools. And then I let Claude write own tests to test the tools. But then also in the second phase, I gave Claude sessions, like old sessions from me, that has used those tools, and ask Claude basically evaluate the sessions and then evaluate the tools. And it's interesting that it gets different results. So
yeah.
Well, we will see.
I've really taken, and this is something we no time to talk about today. I really enjoy giving Claude a playground to work with something and then getting feedback on it through that. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a very good way for me to find small, subtle bugs as well. And when I prototyped a sync engine in December, or at least like prototyped some ability to do sync, I was able to like dispatch two Claudes that could then like simulate two users syncing to a different place, and then those could kind of be orchestrated to try to reproduce bugs or make sure that the very basic sync protocol actually worked and pulled the correct information in the right order and things like that. And doing that manually would have been just like very time intensive, and like writing programmatic tests for that would also be very time intensive and flaky. So yeah, I like this idea that like Claude, go out and try it.
This is your sandbox. You can't destroy anything here.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Cool. Yeah, so let's call it a stream, and maybe let's see. I think next week we are back.
Woo! All right. Goodbye.